Yep. Here is a little down pointing camera rig that I made at one point. So you can use this anytime, as long as somebody doesn't have all their stuff laid out on it. And this used to be part of a photo enlarger or developing rig from Mr. Bean's classroom. You're going to find that all of the cameras in here have a quick release plate just like that one. This one, you just drive it right into there. And if you need to tighten it up, there's a little lever too. If it falls, it's only going to fall straight down, so it's not going to usually hurt anything. Also, if this guy's getting in your way of your lens, you can just jam it right in this little standoff here. And now it's out of your way. You do have to, let's see, if you have to change your battery, you do have to take it off of this thing. You can't open that door. And the way that I have this set up right now, I actually can't see anything on the monitor because I have it plugged into that computer. So we're going to play around with our idea a little bit. I have on this a 24 millimeter lens, which is a prime lens, which gives me a little bit of kind of some distortion around the edges. And that's okay. It works at this height away from the surface. It's kind of ramped up a lot exposure wise, so it's going to be kind of grainy right now. And once I get to a place where, yeah, you see how much, yeah, like it's auto adjusting the ISO right there. Once I get to a place where I'm happy with it, it's definitely going to have some light coming from this side and probably a little bit of bounce going on too. So this is another thing you guys saw in this video. I've got a bunch of stuff like pieces of foam core. That's silver on one side and gold on the other side. I've got white ones. So I'll play around with bouncing a little bit of light from one side to see if I get something I like. Let's see. Are we? Yeah, we are recording. Okay, cool. But I think the first thing that's important is going to be getting our composition set up. And I had this in a place where I liked it before, like before I went home on Friday. But we're going to have to do some more stuff with it. I just pulled a bunch of things that I had sitting around, and some of them are newer pieces of equipment that we have. I got a little inspired by that guy we just watched, so I got out some old school cameras and things like that too, that maybe we'll put in here. Let's see, everything's backwards the way I'm looking at it. Everything's backwards from what I'm trying to do, so it's kind of weird right now. Okay, so doing a little arranging for composition. I got this piece of black fabric. I have just boxes of things like this, so if you need something, let me know. I might be able to dig something up for you. This stuff is called Duvetine, so you can use it for lighting. If you have it on grip trucks and stuff like that, on film sets. And it's supposed to be fireproof. They also call it commando cloth. So this is some audio equipment and things that I had sitting around, things I want to play with and make sure I figure out how to use it. So let's see. So I want it to all be oriented. So let's see. What if this one, these guys, end up down here on this side? Is that looking okay? I'm going to flip those so those two antennas are facing each other. Do I like the look of the microphone that is twisted up like that, or the mic that is rolled up like that? I think this looks better for this project, but maybe we'll do that. We'll have this one up here. We'll have that one up here. That looks pretty good. So that'll go in between. I'm just not going to use this one. I'll get it out of the shot. Are you going to have to do yours on this rig? Absolutely not. You could hand hold yours if you want to, but the thing about this is you're definitely not going to get any shake, and you can totally arrange things and see them how you're going to get it in your final shot if you want to. Let's see. So I guess the idea is we just have like a full like mini production rig out here. That's the That's the theme on this one. So there's a bunch of sound equipment, a few pieces of video equipment. You wouldn't have to do anything that's even remotely like that if you didn't want to. So let's see. Oh, there's another. This helps to look at my composition in the camera as it looks in the camera versus how it looks as I just see it down here. So because it does look a little bit different. I'm going to do that. Yeah, that looks pretty good right there. I'm going to fool around with the lighting and the exposure and some stuff like that before I decide I'm done. Now, if you know anything, you'll know that this lens has nothing to do with that lens, but maybe we're just going for looks right now anyway. We don't have to do something that makes a lot of sense. Should I use one of these vintage cameras? I think it just fits nice right there. It's mostly about the composition rather than making a lot of sense. Does this look pretty good so far? Should we go with it? Okay, cool. Let's see, I'm gonna play around with this thing. And there's obviously something going on in auto with the camera right now, which I'll probably get rid of so I can manipulate some stuff on my own. So maybe I'll play around with that right now. So I got some settings right there. I'm gonna go hit live view. And it's starting to look different. Let's see, if I hit info a couple of times, it's gonna change the stuff that it shows in live view right there. Hey, that's about what I'm going for. One of the things that's kind of interesting with this shot is we got a bunch of stuff that's black or almost black. Some of it's silver or reflective metal on top of a black surface. So a lot of it's going to be kind of competing for any of the light. You might, totally do this with available light or natural light like the demonstration we saw. That's fine. But I'm going to have you play around with this idea of exposure bracketing. I'm also going to have, let's see, can I get a volunteer? And I'm just going to have you hold this on the other side. So it's bouncing a little bit of that light on these things. I don't know if you can see much. You can see some stuff. You can see stuff change, especially like if I get a lot of it, like hitting one of those guys. Good spot right there. If you can do that, that'd be awesome. So yeah, I'm using the gold side right now. We can see where our reflector is. So I've got a light coming from over here. Yeah, you can kind of see it on that camera now. And I've got a reflector right there that's bouncing some of this light back in that direction. I think it's going to work pretty well for what we're doing. For fun, I'm going to hit autofocus for a second and see how it wants to focus on that thing. Yeah, I think I like that focus, so I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to switch back to manual focus so I don't lose that. You could manual focus it if you felt like it. Let's see. I'm going to do this exposure bracketing thing right now. Are you ready for this? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to choose one thing. I'm going to probably change the f-stop up and down a little bit. So I'm going to keep on this one, I'm going to keep my shutter speed at 125. ISO is 2000. And I'm just going to work with my f-stop or the iris a little bit. So I've got one I'm going to take at f4.0. Here we go. Ready for this? So I've got that f4.0 shot. I'm going to go change it a little bit. Hey, let's try. I'm going to do an f3.5 shot right now. And I'm going to go the other direction now. Here's a 4.5. That's exposure bracketing right there. So let's see if I go, will it show me these ones? This is probably the one before. So this is the first shot that I took. That was 4.0. This was f3.5, a little more open. And that's 4.5. At this point, when you're thinking about which one of these you're going to upload, you can choose between these three shots. So you just took three shots, and you get to decide, do I turn in the darkest one, the brightest one, or the mediumest one. That's all you gotta do for that project. Is that a lot of work? You can make it a lot of work if you want to spend a lot of time arranging your composition. If you want to dig up lights or things like that, it could be more work. But really, the gist of it is doing a little bit of composition, taking at least 3 shots, doing some exposure bracketing, and then deciding which one you like the best. Did I do any post processing or anything like that with Photoshop or anything? No, I just took 3 shots that I knew were pretty close to being what I wanted, and then I get to decide which one is the right one to turn in.